Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, the candidates, and of course the community in general, I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity and the privilege to moderate this portion of tonight's event. Just a few reminders. We do have emergency exits at the back and at the sides. Should something happen, please go out in an orderly fashion. There will be no outbursts from the audience. The order of the opening was determined by random selection. Each candidate will give a 1-minute opening and introduction and a 2-minute closing remark. For this portion, we actually have 7 candidates. This is for the Board of Supervisors, and the candidates are Cheryl Cullors of South River, Robert Hutman, South River, Walt Mabe, Shenandoah, Leslie Matthews, South River, Dolores Riley Oates, North River. They're a little out of order back there. Tom Sayer, Shenandoah, and Shay Parker of North River. All right, we are going to begin the opening statements by the draw, which was Shay Parker. You get to go first, sir.
I love Front Royal and Warren County, but given the state of our community, I cannot sit idly by while our leaders allow our hard-earned tax dollars to be misappropriated, stolen, and/or frivolously spent. I'm a 40-year resident of Warren County. I built my business here, met and married my wife here, raised my family here. I've hiked, camped, canoed, rock climbed, fished, hunted, and biked here. Spent many mornings and lunches with a lot of you as an award-winning broadcaster and news director at the local radio station. Countless summers volunteering with 4-H at the Northern Virginia 4-H Center and serving on that center's board of directors. I've served on town council and as the town's vice mayor. I've played and listened to music here, seen art here, made art here, laughed and cried here. I've made my life here. I believe in fiscally conservative leadership that spends our tax dollars wisely. I believe in smart and planned growth and land use. I believe our local government should be representative of all citizens. I believe our community's best days lie ahead. And together, we can make Warren County a safe, prosperous place that we can all, once again, be proud to call our home.
All right, our next candidate is Tom Sayer.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming out seeing. I'd like to thank the Chamber for putting us on. My name's Thomas Sayer. I moved here in 1997 with my wife, Carla Sayer, and we've had 7 children, and they've basically all grown up here. And we chose to come to Front Royal. We, don't have the family background that some people have been here hundreds of years, but we love it here, and that's why we moved here, because of the people, the mountains, the rivers. One of the reasons that I'm running is I want this to be the best county that's in the Commonwealth, Virginia. One of the things that's very important to me is a revenue sharing road program, and that's where we do a dollar-to-dollar match for rural roads. It's very important to me. Also, some of the promises that I've kept in the last 4 years was the Blue Mountain Road paving. That was a road that citizens told me. One woman, I was going door to door, she said since 1985 it had not been paved. And I told her within my 4-year term I'll try, and it was paved. Leech Run Parkway got built. We built a new splash pad. Thank you very much.
All right, our next candidate is Dolores Riley Oates.
Good evening. I'm Dolores Riley Oates, and I'm so glad that all of you are here participating in this civic opportunity. I have been a resident of Warren County my whole life. I was born in Warren Memorial Hospital. I love this county. I've raised 3 sons in this county. All of them have gone to Warren County schools. I have been married for 25 years. I'm a passionate dog lover. You have to know that about me. I earned a bachelor's degree in government after the age of 50 because I believe in this country and I believe in everything that we've been founded upon. I'm a passionate student of the Constitution and I believe in small government. I, like many of you, were motivated to run or were concerned with what was happening in our county, and it motivated me to step up and say, I am willing to serve. I have never served in public office before. I will promise you that I will honor your vote. I will work tirelessly, I will work ethically, and I will make sure that every penny of your hard-earned tax dollars is spent on the things that matter in this county, which I think are
Cheryl, time's up. I apologize.
Sorry.
So, and
I'll get to the rest later.
I'll tell you what, let me make the apology. I didn't remind the candidates. During your speech, you'll see the green light. When the yellow light comes on, you'll have about 15 seconds. Then at the red light, please cut it off. Thank you. All right, our next candidate is Walter May.
For the green light.
Hi, my name is Walt Mabe. I'm not a resident of Front Royal. I did not grow up here, but I did move here 37 years ago and spent some time and enjoyed all of Front Royal. We raised our family here, Taffy and I. We raised our family, our kids graduated, my wife graduated from here. So I came to this county because I like it a lot. I am not a politician at all, and I don't claim to be. But what I do believe, the problems in this county, we've got a demoralized county. And to have a demoralized county means we need to get together and be a part of it. We need to restore the local trust that we have in our government. And our government is very, very important to us. We protect your money, we spend your money, we budget your money. We do everything we can to make it right for you. And that's my speech so far. Thank you.
Perfect. Our next candidate is Robert Hupp.
Hey guys, I'm Robert Hubman, lifelong resident. Grew up here. Family's been here since the 1800s, maybe a little longer. Live right there on the beautiful South Fork of the Shenandoah River. So I am a lifelong farmer. Also, community service is key to a piece of my heart, and that's with this office I see as a community service aspect. I'm here to protect the funds that have been misused. I'm here to develop networking abilities with the surrounding counties and try to get an economy that us taxpayers are not the piggy bank. And that's, my main stance, and I'm here to work for you guys and, develop the relationships that we need going forward to heal this community. And thank you very much.
All right, and our final candidate to speak for opening statements is Leslie Matthews. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip one? Sure.
Skip
Did I skip you?
Leslie.
No, you skipped one.
Skip Leslie first.
I have her speaking last. I apologize. Cheryl, do you want to go, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm Cheryl Colors. I live on the other side of the beautiful Shenandoah River from Robert, so we have that pretty well covered. I am a lifelong resident of Warren County. I was a nurse, and my whole nursing career has been here. 15 years of that was spent at Ressie Jeffries taking care of the children that live in South River resident. I think we can all agree that we have a lot of problems here in Warren County, full-time problems, and I think that we need a full-time supervisor. And I'm going to make you 3 pledges tonight, and one is, if elected, I will be a full-time supervisor. Second is that I want to listen. My nursing training, they drilled us that listening is an essential assessment skill, and I found that to be true throughout my nursing career here. So I want to listen to you. My number has been on every handout that I've given out, and I've encouraged people to call me, and I encourage you to call me as well. Finally, I want you, I'm sorry.
I apologize, Cheryl. Okay. And last but not least then, Leslie Matthews.
Good evening. I'm Leslie Matthews, your conservative and independent candidate running for the South River District Supervisor seat. Thank you for joining us tonight for this public forum. I am a lifelong citizen of Warren County as well. My husband and I have raised 3 children here in this county. Our daughter was the first class to graduate out of Skyline High School. Then our son came around in 2012, and then he went on to college and then is now serving in the U.S. Army in the Special Forces. Our youngest son just graduated this past May, 2019, from Skyline. So we're very proud of all 3 of them and being in the school system. The other thing is I have a high level of integrity. I am a hard worker, and I'm diligent in all that I pursue. I care about all the citizens and will represent South River and the other 4 districts with the highest level of integrity and transparency. Thank you.
All right, so our first question, and Cheryl, you're going to go first this time.
Okay.
All right. There is a perception that leadership in Warren County is out of touch with the county residents. What will you do to improve communications and build trust with your constituents?
Well, as I said, I've given out my phone number to everyone that I've given a card to, and I encourage you to call me. Another avenue that I asked the Board of Supervisors back in the early spring was to create a fraud, waste, and abuse hotline to encourage accountability, transparency. It's an avenue for the citizens. If you see something that concerns you, you can anonymously make a report. If you have good suggestions, you can do that. It's something that needs to be built on, but again, it's in its infancy.
You're good till
okay.
you're good till right.
Again, I've lived here my whole life, and being a nurse, I think that's also a good way to build relationships with the people. I know how to nurture the community, and right now I know we need a lot of nurturing, and I look forward to doing that.
All right, Robert, you are the next one to speak. Do I need to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. There is perception that leadership in Warren County is out of touch with the county residents. What will you do to improve communications and build trust with your constituents?
It's been pretty much what I've been doing my whole campaign. I've been going out of networking with the surrounding counties, with Fauquier, Rockingham, Page, Winchester City. So I'm going to continue my hard work with the surrounding counties, build that network, as well as listen to the citizens. When you come to me, I don't care if you're in my district or not. I represent you guys. I will get you an answer, whether you like it or not. I'm here to work for you. I'm trying to get the best answers and best solutions going forward in this county. Also, I got a network with state and federal representation. I'm willing to work across the line if it has to be. There's no, transparency is as well as a key solution to our problem. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. I'm getting nervous, but but other than that, just please call me anytime. I'm here to work for you full time. Thank you.
Walt, do I need to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
All right. There is a perception that leadership in Warren County is out of touch with the county residents. What will you do to improve communications and build trust with your constituents?
In talking with the hundreds of people, and I mean hundreds of people that I've talked to over the last several months, because I've only been in the campaign for a little over 100 days, I have constantly talked and told them, and I'm absolutely positive that I will win on this. We will communicate, because communication is the key. And the way that we're going to do that is to provide, if I'm elected, every quarter we will have a public meeting. And a public meeting means we'll go ahead and set it up, have it available for our citizens, and they will come and visit and talk to us face to face. If there's a problem, I want to know. If there's an issue that we need to deal with, I want to know. Because I'm not afraid to walk into a fire. I'm an old Marine. I can do it. Thank you.
All right. Leslie, do I need to repeat the question again?
Yes, please.
All right. There is a perception that leadership in Warren County is out of touch with the county residents. What will you do to improve communications and build trust with your constituents?
I will always be available to the citizens in South River, either by phone, by email. However, if they want to stop in, they will always be welcome. I live in Bentonville, and pretty much if I get in there, I will make that known where I'm at. And then there's going to be times that they don't even have to come to me with questions or concerns. I will reach out to them if I see them anywhere in the county, and I will always be transparent with them. That's my number one goal. People need to know truth, they need to be informed, and they need a good leader who they can count on, and I will be that leader.
All right. Dolores, do I need to repeat the question?
I think I've got it.
All right.
So the reason that leadership there is a perception that leadership is out of touch, is because this community doesn't feel like it has a voice. It goes to a Board of Supervisors meeting, and it's given 3 minutes to make a comment without any exchange of dialogue. That's the reason this community feels like that leadership is out of touch. There is no dialogue. My plan, and I have a couple of them already, first off, there's a 9 o'clock meeting on Tuesday morning. If you are employed, which the majority of you are because you're paying taxes, you cannot make that meeting. I plan to ask that that meeting be changed to a more convenient time. The second thing that I would like to ask for is that we have regular meetings with constituents that look like town halls, where we can exchange dialogue. We don't have to be afraid to talk to each other. Being accountable is leadership. That's what happens when you're a good leader. You respond and you're accountable to the people that you are working for. So having a meeting, being able to discuss it, being transparent, talking about what's really going on is
Thank you,
what I
Dolores.
plan to do if I'm elected.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm long-winded.
You're good. All right, our next speaker is Tom Sayre. Tom, do I need to repeat the question?
No, sir. Thank you, Steve. I think it's very important to restore the trust in our community, and we do need to increase our communication. One thing I do is I answer all my emails, I answer all the phone calls. After our meetings, we have 60 minutes where citizens can come up, and we do have back and forth discussions. Sometimes we've had meetings that have gone past midnight. We've had meetings that have gone 2 o'clock a.m. in the morning sometimes. I think that also having a town hall type meeting situation would be a great idea. Have citizens come. It would be similar to what we do when we have a work session. We meet with citizens before an open work session. We meet with citizens after an open work session. So for me personally, I'm having constant conversation with citizens. One of the things that I think that we need to do is that we need to cease the untouchable independent status of the EDA. I think that would help restore trust to our community, that there's some accountability. Thank you.
And Shay Parker.
So, one thing I've noticed since the community's become aware of all of the things in our community, everybody's got an opinion, and everybody's entitled to that opinion. Our leaders should put our citizens first. Currently, the Board of Supervisors have a 9 a.m. meeting on the first Tuesday of the month, and the third Tuesday it's a 7 p.m. meeting. We need to have a uniform meeting schedule that the citizens are able to attend. Beyond that, we need to change the structure of our meeting agendas. After reports, the first thing that should come up are public hearings. The public can come out and make a comment on something that's going to be voted on and needs to be heard on. After that, then the public comment section, before anything on that agenda is voted for. The citizens need to come first, and then as your leaders, as your supervisors, the one making the decisions, we need to take in your opinion before we make any decisions.
Thank you, Shay. All right, so the second question, Robert, you're going to start this one off. What are the key issues facing the District of Hope to Okay, let me start that one again. I apologize. What are the key issues facing the district you hope to represent, and how do you plan on addressing those issues?
For South River, we're losing more and more farmland to housing development. I like to see some of these parcels implement, if people that want to start a farm, encourage that. Bring, obviously, a directory to help people from the other sides of the county to implement the ability to get with the farmer, buy local organic food, really push the ag out there in the south end. And, also with the ag, you're going to be able to get a few cents on the dollar if you're able to sell directly to a consumer. They know that food is, raised locally, grass-fed, whatever they want. And then the other aspect is the tourism. I'm not saying blow up the tourism on the south end, but, catch some of that Northern Virginia coming through, get some of that tax revenue from them. But that's our main thing.
Thank you, Robert. Walt, you have the question next. Do I need to repeat it, please?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Our community from the south, the Shenandoah District, and me talking to them, my community tends to be basically untrusting, argumentative, and they are frustrated. And they're also very concerned about the $100 million budget and the $50 million budget for the education. And we need, and they're accepting the fact that we need tourism. We need managed growth. We need environmentally friendly industry. We need to get together and start doing stuff different. And the only way they're going to do that is to join and get our people together so we can all understand what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Walt. Leslie, you're next up. Do I need to repeat the question? Okay. What are the key issues facing the district you hope to represent, and how do you plan on addressing those issues?
In speaking with some of the citizens, there's concerns about the landfill and what has occurred underground for many years. I do understand that we do haul our waste off to Page County, so it's just a transfer station now, but that is one of the concerns, and we need to address and look at that because the neighboring people are having some issues with water, and that has been one of the things that I would like to look into for the citizens who haven't been given the opportunity to express their concerns with their own private property.
Thank you. Tom, you're next. Do I need to repeat the question?
No. I think the big issue facing Shenandoah District is, in my opinion, is rebuilding trust, but I'd like to go into, we've had that question. Things that I think that are very important in my district are railroad crossings. People are fed up with the uneven passings, and we're doing the best we can getting those fixed. We have a $15.5 million build grant that's going to have an overpass over to Rockland Road. Railroad tracks. Also, we just fixed up the railroad crossing at Fairground Road. All these things are important that need to be done. Also, I think it's important the citizens that we build trust and that they understand that our budget is rated and recognized as AA+. We're just a slight notch below AAA, and we need to cease the tax increases that have been happening over the years. That needs to cease and stop. Thank you.
All right, Dolores, I do apologize. You were supposed to go next. Do I need to repeat the question?
No, it's good. So I am here to run for the North River District, and as most of you have probably heard, Crooked Run West has been quite a topic in our district. We have land that has been designated as commercial property, and the developers have asked that we would reconsider and rezone it for multi-use and take away that commercial property. Well, that area of our county is the fastest growing part of the county in terms of industrial and commercial manufacturing and all of those areas that provide work opportunities for this community. I believe that I would not support rezoning it for housing of any kind because I feel like commercial is so rare in our county that we need to hold on to every piece of it and save it for those chances that we can develop additional work opportunities for the young people of our community come back to.
Thank you, Dolores. And Shay, you have the final say on this? Do I need to repeat the question?
No, I think I've got it. I'm running for the North River Supervisor, but if elected, I plan to represent all the citizens of Warren County. And I think one thing that we can all attest to is we're tired of 6 years of tax increases. So one way to solve that is to start with zero-based budgeting and make every department prove where their money is to come from. Land use is another big issue in the North River corridor. It's not my job as a taxpaying citizen to make sure a developer gets a good return on their investment. If you want to develop residential land, then go buy some land that's zoned for residential that's already slated for that in the comp plan. The other big thing that really needs to be addressed, and this is just across the road from my district, but it's the 117 acres of Avtex property that was slated for commercial and industrial development, but was put up as a deed of trust for IT Federal. That property needs to be released so that we can see development in property that was slated for it, rather than misleading the EPA into thinking we had that property sold just so we could put it up for yet another private developer.
All right, thank you.
I didn't answer that one.
Okay, Cheryl, I apologize.
That's
Good.
okay, that's okay. The issues that, talking to my constituents in my area, again, water, there are people that live near the landfill, and they have touched with me on their concerns about water. I would like to see the wells tested more frequently than what they are. I think that's just doing our due diligence. 340 and 55, those are areas of concern, and I've already talked to Mr. Carter, the VDOT residency engineer from Edinburgh, about concerns on both those roads, and he's assured me that they've already put some things in place, like the rumble strips on 55. There's going to be some shoulder improvements. Down the road, there's even a plan to 4-lane that road, which will be a big improvement there. 340, I've talked with him about some areas of concern there. Cell towers in Browntown, there's no cell service. If we have a bad storm where electric lines and telephone lines go down, they have no way of getting out to, if they have an EMS.
Thank you, Cheryl. All right, Walt, you are the first up to answer the next question, and it is according to a report by the Virginia Tourism Corporation, visitors contributed $2.9 million in tax receipts in our community in 2018. Do you feel that tourism plays a vital role in this community? Why or why not?
I believe that tourism plays a big part in this community, but I think that tourism needs to be increased, and I believe that the town and the county have to get together better to do better advertising for tourism, and we need to get those 65, 70,000 people to spend the night, not just come visit, just spend the night. Spend more money in food, spend more money in clothing that they can buy, because we've got some better stores that they can go to. We've got opportunity to not just do the canoers. We've got people that are going to the caverns. We need people to stop, and we need to direct those people, and we need to get signs to get them to go through our downtown. Our downtown's beautiful, and we need to do a better job in getting the information out to the people that need it.
All right, thank you. Leslie, according to a report by Virginia Tourism Corporation, visitors contributed $2.9 million in tax receipts in our community in 2018. Do you feel that tourism plays a vital role in our community, this community? Why or why not?
I certainly do. I think we live in a very beautiful area, and people are attracted to this area because of our mountains and the river. But one thing that I think that Warren County and Front Royal need to do is we need to clean up our act. Because our reputation out there is not good. Although we offer the geographic beauty, what's taken place in our county has really hindered how people look at us and how they want to come and visit. So that if we want to keep increasing that, then we need to clean our act up and we need to do better.
All right. Dolores, you're next up. Do I need to repeat the question?
No, I'm good. So there are two ways to get into our town. And the fastest route to the Skyline Drive is on 55 from Linden. And if you come in that way, you don't see anything but that route on 55 up South Street, turn left, and that's it. You've never seen the other part of our town, our downtown. We have no signage directing people into the other parts of our community. Also, you mentioned it, we'd like to get, I think Walt mentioned, we'd like to get people to stay over. Well, you know, the millennials want an experience. They want to come here and they want to stay in, you know, in some nice little cottagey kinds of places. And I don't think we are maximizing our potential in tourism that we could in Warren County. So I think we need to explore those opportunities as a county, invite people in for the experience, to have a small town canoeing and up in the mountains and enjoy the countryside.
Thank you. Tom?
Thank you.
You good? Do I need to repeat the question?
No, sir, thank you. Steve, the tourism industry is huge in, you know, Warren County. There's not a bad view that I think that any household here has, and people want to come here and see it. They come all the way from Maryland, they come from DC, they come down to see the Fall Festival of Leaves. These things, that what we do is we advertise, we try to get it out there through online advertising, through pamphlets. We have a tourism facility over by the gazebo. Those are things that we've been spending money on. The hotels expect us to spend money to bring people here for the canoeings. I think what we need to have are family fun events, and that gets people into our community. I've been a big promoter of bike lanes in Front Royal. That gets our millennials here. People have some disposable income and they enjoy riding their bikes. And all these events that we have, we get people to stay at our hotels, eat in our restaurants, and stay here and have fun.
Thank you, Tom. Shay?
First off, we've got a great marketing campaign for tourism in this community. And there are these big green billboards that are all over Northern Virginia and elsewhere. And they say Front Royal 66. And why we're not capitalizing on that campaign that already exists, that's been paid for by the state, is beyond me. We get $80,000 a year from the Shenandoah National Park and a pilot fee, payment in lieu of taxes. Doesn't go back to tourism. It should. McKay Springs, the oldest homestead site in Warren County, is sitting for sale, 10 acres, prime commercial development being marketed by our EDA. Why is that property not being preserved? Turned over to the Shenandoah National Battlefields Foundation. Let them put in a visitor center. Give us yet another attraction to get people off of 66. We have the bones. We have the tourism that's here, but the county relies on the town of Front Royal to market it. The county doesn't really have a tourism budget, and it's a shame.
Thank you, Shay. Cheryl?
I agree. I think we need to work more cooperatively, the town, the county, Shenandoah State Park, the federal park, and the state park. I think we need to get everyone together and promote ourselves better than we are, because we do have the most awesome place for people to come. Being at the Festival of Leaves this past weekend, I was amazed at the amount of people from as far away as Pennsylvania and Ohio that stopped by to speak. And the only thing they had to say was, you know, they were looking for a little bit more of the way things were done years ago, since it was a heritage society. So I think we just need to get more community involvement, more ideas in, and grow what we have and promote ourselves better with signage. Even as Shay was saying, the state signs. As supervisors, we need to work to give the tools to do these as well.
And Robert, you get the final say on this question.
All right, that's a good question. I come from a recreational background. I've worked with Active West Virginia, that's the southern part, where Fayetteville, they're primarily recreational, that's only money. They did a study between those three counties. They were able to promote gross $53 million just through rock climbing. So I'd like to tap in that market. I don't see if we could advertise, Fox 5, we see it every morning when we wake up, Lee Ray Caverns. If we can jointly work with the Chamber of Commerce, Front Royal Outdoors, and the town of Front Royal, come up with a fair budget for advertisement through that link, I think we could maximize our profits, probably, ambitiously looking at 2 years down the road. Why can't we make that $5 million? And use that money to reinvest in our community by, coming up with, teachers funds, just right off the top of my head, that could help supplement some of that Other than that, I think we can, with the Skyline Drive, we have everything to do that to be a four-season area and get this money from Northern Virginia. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. All right, Leslie Matthews, you get the first up on this next question. If you're elected, what would you do to specifically help our community heal from the EDA situation and prevent it from happening again?
First of all, I'd like to get out the exacts to the public. We get out little pieces, and everything is always, oh, well, we can't say anything about this, or we can't say anything about that. I would really, as the representative for South River, would love to get out the truth, the facts of what took place, who was involved, how this all happened, and then get past, hold people accountable and get past this. That is the number one goal. Our community needs to heal. This has been a real big damaging thing to Front Royal and Warren County.
Thank you.
That's it.
Oh, you still have time, I'm sorry.
Okay. And I would just say that I would definitely pursue that for the people and stand up for what's right.
Good, okay. Dolores, do I need to repeat the question?
I believe that the situation at hand calls for new leadership and vision. And I think that in an effort to heal this community, you have to let it have a voice. You have to let people express and their concerns to you. You have to respond to those concerns. And a true leader can listen and offer constructive suggestions and help the community understand what happened and that we will never let that happen again. I also believe that accountability has to take place. If we do not have the people who were responsible held accountable, then you will never have the trust of the community and the community can't heal. In order to do that, everybody, and I will just say this, no one wants to be accountable for this situation. No one is in charge. And I've asked who's in charge and no one is at this point. We need to identify who was in charge, why this happened, what were the things that occurred? I mean, there were red flags all through the whole event.
Thank you, Dolores.
And no one called them out. And so I believe accountability will help heal this community.
Again, candidates, please respect the lights.
Okay.
All right, Tom, you're up next. Do I need to repeat the question?
No. The people of Warren County have been financially damaged by the secretive embezzlement and cover-up schemes of some public officials. Over and above the financial damage they have suffered, the citizens have lost faith in our local government. To suggest a quick fix is to misunderstand the gravity of what has occurred. First and foremost, all the guilty parties must be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Not only does this serve the cause of law and order, but it will bring the facts to light. Facts that convict the guilty and exonerate the innocent. It would be difficult to regain any trust without proper prosecution. So I plan to continue helping in any and every way possible to assist in this prosecution. My personal lawsuit against McDonald kept the focus on her, which brought to light some of the very facts of the embezzlement. Secondly, I will continue my best efforts to expose the corruption wherever it may be in all corners of our local government. I will work to reform the EDA and how it operates. We analyze all options to reform, including analyzing the impact of dissolving EDA with a final report due by November 29, 2019.
Shay, you're next up. Do I need to repeat the question?
Rebuild the trust, is that basically what it is? How do we do it?
If you're elected, what would you do to specifically help our community heal from the EDA situation and prevent it from happening again?
Let me start by saying that there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. One thing that needs to be done, we need to review the EDA's charter, find out what failed. Do we need to rewrite that charter? We need to look at the state enabling legislations for EDAs. Do we need something specific for Warren County, or do we find a flaw with all EDAs across Virginia and we need to work with Richmond to get it fixed? We also need to open up all of the county books for inspection. We need to make sure that every bit of corruption, no matter how big or how small, is vetted. I don't care if it costs $2,000 to find $50. If somebody stole $50, they need to be held accountable. We want all corruption ridded from Warren County, and we want to move on. And until we can ensure the citizens that we've done everything we can to rid it, I don't think we will rebuild that trust. I have a 90-day plan that's a revolving plan on what to do. We'll hopefully get into that tonight. A lot of that won't be decided until we know which of us are serving on that Board of Supervisors
Shane.
come January.
All right, Cheryl, you're next. Do I need to repeat the question?
No, I think I have it. I too believe every bit of corruption needs to be gone, every bit. I have a zero tolerance for corruption. To me, it's just like having cancer, and until you get every bit of it out, then you worry if you're going to get cancer again. So I definitely want to see this process that's already in place taken. And I ask all the people in Warren County to have patience with it. We don't want a rush to judgment. We want a thorough investigation and a thorough judgment down of anybody involved. But we have to remember, people are innocent until proven guilty, and so we need to have patience on that level as well. Like I said earlier, I asked for a fraud, waste, and abuse hotline. I didn't just pull that out of the sky. The state of Virginia has one, and I asked them to look at it for a template. They have routed out a lot of corruption and saved the state a lot of money. And I think community involvement, being our brother's keeper, and if you see something, say something, and then as supervisors, we need to listen. And we need to act and check out what we're being told.
Thank you, Cheryl. All right, Robert?
All right. First and foremost, to regain the trust, I do believe we need to look at the books, go ahead, send them back off to a third-party auditor, not even just the EDA, county as well, get back on track. Even reach out. Like I said, I've went and had meetings with other EDA directors at other counties as well. Fauquier's a really good example. Miles, he's willing to help us in any which way to get better insight on how EDA is supposed to work. And I think that's where we're going to regain the trust. There's a few board members that was on there before that all this has happened. I do believe in due process, first and foremost, but with that particular black eye we have right now, maybe we should excuse a couple board or members of the EDA right at the moment and get this trust back in the community. Thank you.
Walt, you have the final say on this question. Do I need to repeat it?
If you would, please.
All right. If you're elected, what would you do to specifically help our community heal from the EDA situation and prevent it from happening again?
That's a really good question, and I know people always want to know the answer to that. I hear it all the time. I believe that the EDA needs to be redeveloped. I don't think that we should lose it because it's a vital portion of our town and it can work to our benefit, along with tourism. They're our voices when we're out trying to sell our community. I believe that in my past, as being a project manager in a telecommunications world, I was a budget person, and the budget has to be looked at to make sure that we're not doing badly. I believe that we should be looking towards our citizens to tell us what they think is going on. I think that we need to settle in and we need to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Walt. The next question actually comes from our audience, and bear with me for a moment. Yeah, Dolores, you're going to be the first one to answer this one.
Okay.
All right. Would you be in favor of the number of terms a supervisor can serve? And if so, would you move to see these term limits implemented?
Well, as a student of government, I can tell you that the longer somebody serves, the more opportunity there is for corruption. So yes, I would absolutely support term limits. I believe that this is not a lifetime position. You shouldn't come in and be a professional politician. I believe that every position should have someone who is in it for the short term to serve the community at their best at that time, and then exit and let somebody else come in and take over the job. Otherwise, people get really complacent. And that is what you're seeing that has happened in our community. People got really friendly and comfortable in their little groups, and they stopped asking the most obvious questions, and there was a sense of trust that was misplaced. And that misplaced trust has resulted in about $24 million loss at this point, or something of that 20 plus or 24. But those it's very important to limit people's opportunities to serve in that capacity. So yes, I would support term limits.
You, Tom, do I need to repeat the question?
Yes, I would support term limits, and also I think term limits would be important on the EDA as well. We need to move around these different positions, and these positions that people, I think the treasurer was there for about 30 years, and they get too comfortable in these positions. So yes, I would support term limits, and one of the things that's good also is having elections. If you've noticed that House of Representatives, the elections every 2 years, House of Delegates every 2 years, those people tend to be closer to the people because they have an election more often. And so the term limits would do that as well. Would get fresh people in, and people that would be able to look at the issues anew. And also, these kind of issues are very important, and we've got to be able to listen to people and hear back. That's what's the most important, that communication.
Jay, you're the next one up. Do I need to repeat the question?
No, sir. Let me go ahead and start out and say, I'm for and done. I will help fix this problem. If you have a sign in my yard after Election Day, please throw it in the trash. I don't want this job, but I'm willing to do the job. It needs to be done. I have experience. I figured I would offer it up. I'll support term limits. I don't think that we should be career politicians. I don't want to be a politician. I want to be someone who helps set policy. I want to help make decisions on behalf of our citizens. I've got experience in working with government. I'm willing to parlay that for the citizens. But I don't want this job, but I am willing to do it. And like I said, for and done. I'm not running again.
Carol?
I too support a 2-term limit. The first 4 years is basically getting your feet on the ground, trying to get your bearings and learn and get through as much as you can. The second 4 years, you've got your basis, you're solid, and you know your go-to people in the community better. But I think after 2 terms, then we do need fresh ideas and new people to come in. And I think it would be due diligence for the person in the office to mentor whoever. You start running in the beginning of the year, and I was very blessed. I asked, can I come to meetings and learn? Because I've never done this. I'm not a politician. I don't have a clue to all the processes. So I went to everything, and I was graciously accepted. And I would encourage that. I think that would give you a better sense of what you're getting into before you get into it and realize you didn't have enough time to do it.
Robert, do I need to repeat the question?
No, I'm good. I'll agree with Cheryl on that. I don't believe we should be in here no longer than 2 terms. It gets stagnant after a while, as you can tell, and it just gets tiring. After you put 8 years into something, it's tough coming back for that 3rd term. And, hopefully we're going to be more proactive as a community. If you guys want to step up and I'm elected, after 4 years and you inspire me and you want to run, you want to step up to it, by all means. But right now I think I'm the man for the job, or person for the job, excuse me, ladies. I want to get this county back in the right direction, and I'm not going to, quit. And that's my pledge to you guys from here on out. But yeah, I do support term limits, and we need them. Thank you.
Thank you. Walt?
I support term limits as well. I think 8 years is probably enough for 2 terms, but this part of the discussion for me is really simple. And I mean as simple as we can get it. I support 2 terms, but elections are in 4 years. If I'm not doing the job, vote me out. That's it.
Thank you, Tom. All right, so Tom, Sarah, I apologize. Thank you, Walt. Tom, we're going to, you get to start the next question.
One more.
Go ahead.
And I have something good to say.
Thank you.
In today's world, yes, I support 2 terms. I said that at the beginning of my campaign, but I sit up here tonight and I'm proud to say that my grandfather, George Brown Baggerly, served this county in the South River District for 28 years. That man was not complacent. That man truly cared for the people, and I've got his blood running in me. And I'm telling you right now, I will always stand up for what's right. I've been kind of put on the spot tonight with the questions. I'm not real good on that, but I want you guys to know that I am good at doing what's right. And I will stand for what's right, as my grandfather did. So yes, today I will support the terms, but just wanted you to know that I have a grandfather who I'm very proud of and how he did serve this county.
Thank you, Dolores, and I apologize for skipping.
Leslie.
Throw it away. All right, Leslie, thank you.
That brought out a little
Yeah.
bit of me, so.
So shuffle you guys around a little bit, maybe. Really make it confusing. All right, Tom, you get to, Tom, crack at this next question. Not gunfire, right? Okay, great. All right, what is your vision for the future of Warren County? Please list the reasons you think Warren County is special or unique, and how would you use these attributes to help further our community?
Okay, I think the visions for Warren County, number one thing I think that we need to do, because of what's been happening, it has been a financial issue. I think we need to get back to doing the Government Finance Officers Association. For 4 years running, we were excellence in accounting and accountability with our government. We miss it this year because we weren't able to do our budget with the EDA. But we're going to get back on track. We're going to have that to be the 5th year coming up, the Government Finance Officer Association. We need to keep our AA and the plus rating that we have. We need to make sure that the vision that we have in our county is strong financial security. We need to make sure that the taxes aren't raised unless something is just absolutely necessary, which is not on the horizon for me as a vision. We're going to cease these tax increases. Keep the savings that we've done.
Oh, Tom,
I'm done.
we're done. Thank you.
The red light came on.
Shay?
My vision for the community moving forward is that everyone expresses their opinion on what vision they want to see for Warren County. In 2020, we're going to have comprehensive plan review. We're going to dictate what the next 10 years of Warren County is going to be. What kind of land use do we want? But more than that, my vision for Warren County is that other communities look to us and they say they're doing the right thing over there in Warren County. Look where they were and look where they are now. That's going to take a community. That's going to take all of us. And we're going to have to work together. No matter which of us get elected, we can't do anything without the help of all of you sitting out there. We can't do it unless you show up to a meeting and we give you a podium for your voice. So I explained how I want to change the meeting agendas to allow the public to give more comment, that we're going to change those meeting times. But without the community giving us input, I don't see a vision.
Thank you, Shay. Cheryl, you're next. Do I need to repeat the question?
My vision for Warren County is to not forget our roots, our natural resources. As a farmer who won Conservation Farmer of the Year in 2010, our resources are vital. They are a big part of who we are, who we've always been. Our tourism rotates around that, the national park, state park that we now have, our river. We need to protect that, but we have to have growth. And we have to have good growth with good paying, environmentally friendly jobs. We need to make Warren County a place. I have children, I have grandchildren. I never wanted to leave here because of where I grew up. Browntown was next to Mayberry RFD for me. And I know that seems very naive, but if we work together and have growth, the right kind of growth. I want a place where my children and my grandchildren want to stay and be proud of, and yours as well.
Thank you. Robert, do I need to repeat the question?
You go ahead and repeat it.
All right. What is your vision for the future of Warren County? Nope.
My vision is a well-rounded, obviously, well-rounded community that we're going to prosper not only through recreational on the scenic south side, but create jobs on the north end. And I'm here to, with a protected North River and a South River, we have to protect our water and resources as well. We have to pick and choose smart development, smart growth. And then, like I've been preaching tourism bucks, we nab some of that. And I don't see why down the road we can't have some of the best paid teachers in the valley. As an entrepreneur, if the better paid the position, and I'm not saying going out here and shaking the piggy bank out of taxpayers, but let's be creative, come up with money other ways, and have a better education, because I do have a 3-year-old and she'll be starting school here in about 2 years, and I really want to get to work and try to promote this educational program too that we're lacking a little bit.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Walt?
I understand the question really well, I believe. And I think that we've got to do 4 or 5 things. And I think that, one, we need to expose and resolve all of the issues in the EDA. We need to get them behind us. I believe that this will start to bring back the community as a whole. When all of that information comes out, it's visible, it's transparent to everything. We need to conduct a thorough analysis of the county budget. Want to make sure that everything that we're spending your money for is going for something that will benefit us. We also need to seek the best advice from our people to be able to look at the intersection of 2 great rivers, look at the northern entrance of the Skyline Drive. This town has a great inland port, and we have easy access to busy highways, and we have the ability to make it better.
Thank you, Walt.
Thank you.
Leslie, do I need to repeat the question?
No, sir. My vision is, first of all, that our local government comes together as one leader for the people and listens, actually listens, and is led by the people, not the county leading the people. We are here to represent you. We want you to be involved and to tell us what your needs are and how we can improve our community. So that is my number 1 vision. The other thing is I'd love to see the area out at Cricket Run be kept for commercial and industry, so that good industry can be brought in to Front Royal that will provide livable wages and benefits for our people. There are so many that commute, and I'm talking people even in their 60s are still commuting down that road. And that's it. Thank you. The red light's on me.
All right, thank you. Dolores, you get the final say on this question.
My vision for Warren County is that it not look like Manassas. My vision for Warren County is that we have great schools, and that we have well-paying jobs, and that we have a safe environment for our kids to grow up in, that we have a strong police force and a strong sheriff's department, and that we all work toward the same goal. I'm going to tell you what I think that has happened in Warren County is that there haven't been any visionaries in a long time. And I think, unfortunately, without a visionary, we don't have one lockstep direction to walk in together. And we need somebody. Leadership is about developing a vision and getting people to come along with that vision, and then working toward obtaining that vision. I want Warren County to be a safe and wonderful place for my sons who've gone to college to come back and work here. There aren't jobs for most of our kids who've gone to college to come back to. And we need to work to help develop those opportunities so our kids can come back here and raise their families.
Thank you, Dolores. All right, the next question also comes from our audience. Budgets, financing, debt, bonds, insurance are complicated issues. Do you feel training for all supervisors is necessary? And if so, what type of training would you recommend? And Shay, you are the first person to answer this.
So do I think training is necessary and how would I recommend it?
What type of training would you recommend?
Okay. Yes, if you're unfamiliar with budgeting process, yes, I think that you should have training for that. I know that there is an orientation process that the county offers, and there's also the Virginia Association of Counties that have conferences and classes for new supervisors. I would highly recommend anyone who is newly elected to consider taking those courses. It gives you a much better understanding. So I guess briefly, yes.
All right, thank you, Shay. Cheryl?
Absolutely. I'll be the first person to say I don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn, and I would be grateful for the opportunity to do so. And if those are a couple of the places, then I am more than willing to put the time in to go to them, and anything else. And because I want to make the best and well-informed decisions as I can. I pay taxes too. I'm very frugal with my money, and I plan to be just as frugal with yours. I want to plan wisely, spend wisely, so that we don't be doing redundant services or making misinformed decisions where we end up double spending on things just because you didn't have a good informed decision that was made. So absolutely, I look forward to any and all training.
Thank you. Robert?
I completely agree with the Cheryl and Shay as well. I know we have, if we're newly elected, we have that training for new board members. Definitely plan on going to any type of educational program I can. Not only that, I'm willing to spend my own money on any additional training I need to go to make sure I'm not going to screw up, plain and simple for you guys, and make sound decisions. And that's never stop learning, and that's my main goal with this office. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Walt?
Having worked as a project manager for 21 years, I got into the budget process because that's what a project does. You have to learn to be able to understand where the weaknesses are. You have to be able to understand where there can be waste or fraud or anything like that. And having a government budget is a little bit different. I'll admit I will need education on it just like everybody else, and I'm willing to go to whatever they offer. But I have the advantage of understanding it a little bit better than maybe some of the other people because I've done it so much. My projects depended upon the budget that I was provided at the beginning of it. So Warren County is a project, and it has to be treated somewhat as such, even though it's an entirely different thing. We're not building anything other than a community. Thank you.
Leslie? Do I need to repeat the question?
Yeah, one more time.
No problem.
Please.
All right. Budgets, financing, debt, bonds, and insurance are complicated issues. Do you feel training for all supervisors is necessary? And if so, what type of training would you recommend?
Okay. I do feel that if someone hasn't been in a supervisor position, which I have not, I am all open for training, although I do have 30 years of administrative work behind my belt, and I do understand budgets, I do understand money. I enter money all day long in my job into different accounts, and I keep a close eye on all of that, and I am held very accountable with that. So, but I definitely, if elected into this South River District, that is one of my main things that I've spoke about throughout this campaign, that I am very big on this budget. I want to get in it, I want to see it, get in depth with it, and get a grip on this thing. So any training that's offered, yes, I will absolutely be for that.
All right, thank you. Dolores?
I agree with everybody here in that you can't come into this position and know everything. It's just not possible. So yes, I believe that, I am willing, like everyone here, I've been a lifetime student. Like I mentioned before, I got a degree after the age of 50. So I'm used to getting in and doing the research and learning new things, and I'm not afraid to do that. I think to be best equipped, we should have training on bonds and insurance and anything that impacts our community. I want to understand the processes, how they came to the decision, and why they came to the decision. And in order to do that, you have to be educated. Our county budget is $112,500,000. That is a huge responsibility and one that I would not take lightly. So I will seek every opportunity to get training. I specifically don't know what's available yet, but I plan to research that and find out.
Thank you, Dolores. And Tom, you get the final say on this question.
Thank you. I've worked as a former West Virginia Assistant Attorney General in the Public Protection Division. My educational background is Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, concentration in finance. I have a Juris Doctorate at Ohio Northern University. I've gone through the Virginia Elected Officials Leadership Academy. That's when I was on town council. I'm a gold member, advanced certified official. As a board supervisor, I went through an 18-month program run by Dr. Mike Chandler out of Virginia Tech, the Virginia Certified County Supervisor Program. These programs are very good, and it's important that whoever gets elected, that if they haven't had that kind of training, that I think that they should go to that training and get up to speed to what's going on in our community, and so that they can do a better job as supervisor. Also like to mention that as far as doing the budget and getting background on that, Dr. Clark, where I work at Seton School, she calls me the bloodhound, and I like getting down into the budgetary issues and figuring out what's going on.
Thank you, Tom.
very much.
All right, final question for the night. I would like to thank the audience and the participants for putting up with me making mistakes. Also, the willingness to serve our community. I want to thank you all for that. All right, Cheryl, you get to answer this one first. Why should voters of Warren County elect you, and what makes you qualified?
Well, I have the time, and being full-time at this, I think, is necessary. This isn't just what I've gone through to learn this year by attending as many meetings as I can get in, and I'm not talking just board meetings, I'm talking committee meetings, the budget process. I've gone to each one of the sheriff's department, the fire department. I've gone to EDA meetings. I've gone to sanitary district meetings and POA meetings. You have to be able to have the time to get in touch with people and to do your research and due diligence. So that's a big one that I think sets me apart. The other one is my background as far as working at school. I think that gives me a good understanding of the way school system works and what goes on within the school. Also, my family's a law enforcement family. My brothers are law enforcement. My son's a law enforcement officer. My husband was considered law enforcement before he retired as a DMV weight agent.
All right, thank you, Cheryl. It's the
I always
light.
forget to
love
look
it.
at that. Sorry.
You're good. All right, Robert? Why should the voters of Warren County elect you, and what makes you qualified?
First and foremost, I'm going to put 110% to this position, as Cheryl spoke. I look at it as a full-time position. I get most of all my farm work done before 6, 7 a.m. Occasionally there is times you don't, farming happens and you have to fix something, but I will be here for the community first, along with my family. Secondly, I think I set myself apart with my networking ability, not only working with other entrepreneurs, business owners. I want to really drive home the customer service aspect in that county office where we can have a business-friendly county first and foremost. And I think I excel at that with representation with the other delegates and federal. Also, I love this community, and I will do everything in my power to keep it on the right track and protect it in the right areas that it needs to be with proper growth. And that's my pledge to you.
Thank you, Robert. Walt? Do I need to repeat the question?
Please.
Why should the voters of Warren County elect you, And what makes you qualified?
Well, first and foremost, I am qualified to do it. I am motivated to do it. And I'm excited to do it. And I want the opportunity. Having done the work that's necessary to get projects done is what it takes to make this county work. And I believe that I have those qualities. I wouldn't be sitting up here if I didn't. My wife has taken a lot of grief from me because I'm trying to go everywhere and do everything. I go to every meeting that I can go to, and I know that I just got into this thing on May 26th. And I had to be on the ballot by June 10th. I did it because I got into it, and I got into the Board of Supervisors and the Planning Commission and the education system, and every place that would let me go, I went.
Thank you all. Leslie, do I need to repeat the question?
Yeah, thank you. Why I want the voters in South River to vote for me is because I am a stand-up person. I am diligent. I am trustworthy. I am a fighter in a good way. And I will do everything in my power to do what needs to be done for the citizens in South River. I know that I do have a job, and I have to have a job. I couldn't afford to keep up here if I didn't. So that doesn't disqualify me because I do have a job. What qualifies me is because I am diligent and I am a fighter, and if I take on this position and you put your trust in me, I will do it. I will not let you down.
All right, thank you, Leslie. Dolores?
Well, I feel I want this job. I feel like I can do this job. I feel like I have 20, well, I hadn't told you before because that light keeps going off on me, but I have 26 years of experience as a technical recruiter. I have a very strong human resources background. I understand policies and procedures, how to write them, how to execute them, and how to make them work. I have managed a $30 million budget, and I have endless energy. It's God-given, and I've been known to work 2 jobs and volunteer, ask my family, and I just feel like I can help our community in this point that we are in a crisis. I feel strongly, I think I have an optimistic attitude where I believe that with every crisis, there's an opportunity to get better. You can get stronger, you can get better, you just have to figure out a way to get through that crisis, and everybody come together and work together, and it just creates a better community.
Thank
I
you,
know the
Dolores.
light's on.
You're good. Tom?
Thank you. I believe in strong, healthy families. I think that's very important in our community, not just to let the school system raise your children or the teachers. We need to have very good, strong, healthy families. A crisis pregnancy center helps with that. We do many things in our community. I applaud everyone who does that. I'm just a part of that. Many people do so many good things. One of the things that I think that I believe in, that voters, why they should vote for me, for an example, we just went over our budget and we did an overall savings around $11 million. We have an overall savings additional about $1,775,783 because we didn't refinance back in 2017 and we waited. And now we have a gross savings of $6,367,000, 12.23%. That's just on the RSW. On the savings of 2011, 2012 bonds, savings of $5,283,748.
Thank you, Tom. And Shay, you get the final say on this question. Do I need to repeat it?
Okay, let me reiterate. I don't want this job. I think there's only 7 people in this community who do, and we must all be crazy because none of y'all obviously want this job, but the job needs to be done. Why should you vote for me? Because I'm willing to do the job. I have experience in government. I think you should vote for someone who doesn't want the job. I mean, if somebody wants the job, you really got to question them, especially in times like these. Now, with that said, I've got 6.5 years of experience on the town council. In fact, I once blocked a tax increase by not voting. I once proposed a tax reduction. Show me a politician who does that. Now, I've also got 5 years' experience serving on the executive committee at the 4-H Center, the Northern Virginia 4-H Center. 3 years as treasurer up there. I know how to read budgets. I know how to ask questions. There's a reason that members of the EDA tried to implicate me in a police report that maybe I had something to do with their break-in, because I was asking questions.
All right, thank you, Shay. All right, so now we come to the portion where it's each candidate will get 2 minutes for a closing statement. We'll go in the reverse order where we started. I have Leslie Matthews, who ended our very first opening statement, so we're going to go ahead and let you go first.
Okay. Well, again, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. I hope you've received some positive input through what you've heard, and that you will make certain to be at the polls on Tuesday, November 5th. I think that's very important for everyone who is registered to vote to be there. Let your voice be heard. I seek to represent you in the South River seat at no personal gain, as I do not need a road paved in front of my house or any turkey barns. But I am running for this seat not to make friends, but rather my main goal as your supervisor is to conduct the business of the county in such a manner that will bring benefit to all citizens. Another goal I have is to preserve the history for our town and county. This is something I haven't really brought out, but I've been talking to a lot of citizens in that area, and they find that that's very important, and so do I. We need to remember how strong Front Royal was during the Second World War, when we trained horses and dogs for our servicemen, and when the Avtex plant that once provided many jobs throughout the valley produced the rayon needed for war materials. I'd like to see the Avtex Museum that was spoke of during the closing of this plant be erected so the younger generations can learn and know that Front Royal was once a striving and strong community where the people worked together for the good of all. They don't see that right now. So I just want to remind everyone that we can restore our community by working together to get Warren County back on track. So thank you again for coming, and I hope you have a nice evening.
Thank you, Leslie. Robert Huffman, you're up next.
Okay.
Closing statement, please.
Well, I want to thank you all for showing up. Keep showing up. We got November 5th right around the corner. Voice your opinion, cast your vote. My closing statement's simple. I love this community. I hate to see where it's been and where it's went. But I'm optimistic as well. So I think our future is bright here. I want a well-rounded budget. I want, smart growth in smart areas. And I want better paid teachers so my daughter and everyone's granddaughters and grandbabies can have adequate learning. And with that being said, I don't have nothing to gain from this position other than continue my community service and be here for the people at all times. You can call me at 10 o'clock at night. I might be snoozing a little bit, but I'll wake up and answer your phone call. And I'm here to get results. I'm not here to mess around for these 4 years. I'm willing to hop in this position at any point in time. If it needs to be early, I'm here to work. I handle a farm, day-to-day operations. I also have 2 other businesses in the community. And I'm pushed everything aside so we can give you guys the best 4 years I can. And that's pretty much my closing statement. But thanks for showing up, and I definitely love this county. Thanks.
Thank you, Robert. Cheryl.
When I introduced myself, I talked about the need for a full-time supervisor to deal with Warren County's full-time problems. And I promise to be that full-time supervisor who listens and works for common sense solutions to the issues that we have. I hear you. I'm learning as much as I can so that when elected, I can hit the ground running to be the best supervisor I can. I also want to have community meetings where we get together every 3 to 4 months, and I used to work shift work. I know what that is. I'll be available for people who work evenings, nights, so that we can get your input. I don't see myself as a politician. I'm a public servant. That's what I've done all my life. I started volunteering at 14 as a candy striper and at the library at the community center that was in Browntown at the time. My phone number's on everything. I want to be available to you. I will listen. I work hard to find solutions. As I said earlier, the Fraud, Waste, and Abuse Hotline, transparency, accountability, trust, and integrity are all things that I live by. When I was the nurse at Ressie, I worked not only to gain that with the staff, but the students and the parents, and I was successful at that. I still have students that came up to me and parents and acknowledge how much I meant to them, and that's worth more than gold to me. As a nurse, I understand and recognize the need for a full-service hospital that includes a birthing center. Mrs. Johnson in 1928 recognized that. We didn't have anything. People were having babies in unsafe and unhealthy conditions. She recognized that problem, a nurse, and she built Johnson's Nursing Home, where over thousands of children were born from 1928 to 1947, when those services were shifted to the hospital. Nurses can do a lot when we put our minds to it. Farming has taught me that there are storms to be weathered, and we're going through a storm. But we have to make decisions, and I've had to plan wisely, spend wisely, all things that I will bring to you as supervisor. I've met a lot of great people knocking doors, a lot of great people who have a lot of great things. We have differing opinions, but I can say this, everybody agrees we need a Chick-fil-A, and I'll work hard to get that. Thank you.
We certainly gave you a little extra time at the end, and I think it was well worth it. Walt?
That's hard to follow. Thank y'all for coming out. It really means a lot just to see the amount of folks that come out. I would like to see, sitting on the Board of Supervisors, looking into the crowd every time that we have a meeting, to see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people telling us what you believe in and what you want to believe in. And actually letting us listen. I will be available no matter what. You tell me what you got going and I will be there. I want this community to understand that, and they do. I mean, everyone in here that I've talked to, I believe that they understand that this is still a great community. We've got a black eye. Okay, we're going to heal. And we're going to have to get together and start doing the things that make this community better. And you're the ones that's going to help do that. I can't do it. All I can do is step outside of that little box that I live in and listen to what's going on and understand that things need to change. The other day I was called a broom for a portion of a clean sweep of this county. It's important that you have trust in us. And then in turn, you have trust in me, because I am qualified. I am available. I am going to succeed, and I want the job. So help me get it. Please go vote.
Thank you, Walt. Dolores?
I want to thank the Chamber for hosting this. It's a great opportunity, and I want to thank all of you for coming out. I'm sure you had a lot of other things you could have been doing tonight. I want this job. I believe that this is a time. This is a time for new leadership, for vision, and for change. I believe that I'm qualified to do it. I believe that I will work tirelessly for you. You can guarantee and take to the bank that I am not in this for any personal gain. I don't own a business. I don't have any reason to do this other than I want to serve my community. I love Warren County. I grew up here. My children have grown up here. It's hard to not love a place you bring your babies home to. And I want to see that continue. And so in order to do that, I believe we have an opportunity. This is an opportunity to build a stronger community. We will heal from this. We will find a way out. And we will be better together for it. I believe that Warren County has huge potential. And that potential has not been realized. And I want to help be an instrument instrument of realizing that potential. I also ask that you guys go out and vote on November 5th. I will be honored to serve you, and I will never let you down.
Thank you, Dolores.
Thank you.
Tom?
Thank you, Steve. I believe that we need to increase communication, and we need to start next year with a no tax increase. I make no apologies for listening to Bevan Ager when she initially came out and raised some concerns. I make no apologies. And if I'm reelected, I will keep digging, investigating, and asking the tough questions. That will not end if I'm reelected. One of the things that's important is to diversify our economy. We have a lot of small businesses in Warren County. It's a healthy economy, not just say Avtech's a big economy, and when it ceased its operation here, it really hurt our community. When we first came here, there was only 4 houses that sold that month. So it's good to diversify your economy. We need to continue to monitor salaries and benefits to be competitive with our local region. The school system has made many necessary renovations. The EDA needs to unload many of the real estate properties, but as always, the goal needs to be on economic health that provides good paying jobs. We need to get to our rural roads and pave those roads. The people, I'm going out door to door, I learned so much from going door to door. I see people out there that I still remember 4 years ago at your door. Mr. Gent, I still remember you. Mr. Dennis, I still remember you. Everything that going out and meeting the people. The dust in the street drives these people crazy. We've got to continue the rural road revenue sharing program. Also, we need to keep improving our railroad crossings, not just to have the glorious, flyover. These people tell me all the time, Mr. Sarah, I'm really sick and tired of it's not smooth. Up in Clark County, the railroad crossings are smooth. I will do what I can to make those railroad crossings smooth. It's difficult working with the railroad, but we can do that. My time's up. Thank you. I hope you remember me on November the 5th. Tom Sarah.
Thank you, Tom. And Shay?
All right, I'm going to start with something that I don't think anybody has addressed, and the one thing that this county needs is good legal representation that's not shared with other entities that may cause conflicts. The other thing that we need to look at is our administrator's contract is up in June of next year. I say January 2nd, we re-advertise it. He's welcome to reapply, but we need to see what else is available. Hindsight is 2020. We know where we've been. We've seen painful learning lessons, and as we move forward to January 2020, some of those lessons learned will be put to the test. As your supervisor, I'll need your help to move Warren County forward. As a community, we need everyone to have input and share in their vision for the future of Warren County. Comprehensive plan review begins in 2020. What's our 10-year vision? What do we want, and where will it need to be? It needs to be decided. With the 2020 census comes 2021 redistricting. How and where do we wish to be represented, and by whom, and by how many? We need our leaders to work together for the betterment of this community as a whole, not for a few select developers, businessmen, or politicians. All eyes are on Warren County. We have the attention of the press, and while our community nightmare may continue to unfold, this community must continue to rally. We need to make sure that if we're in the news, it's for the right reasons. Warren County has a lot to offer. We have a wealth of tourism opportunities. We have a great position with rail access, the Virginia Inland Port, and the interstate. There's no reason we can't be attracting commercial and industrial investment. We need to control spending and look to outside investment to bolster our tax base, create jobs, and reduce the burden on our citizens. My vision is beginning Tuesday, November 5th. We're all working together. We can rebuild our community in such a way that our neighboring municipalities look at us and say, how are they doing that? I'm Shay Parker, and I'm asking for your help and your vote on Election Day. Vote for Shay Parker for North River Supervisor, but more than that, vote for Warren County.
All right, thank you, Shay. I'd like the audience, please give these fine ladies and gentlemen a hand. I'm guessing we're going to take a short intermission.